My first drum teacher was Joe Bergamini, fellow Vic Firth guy. So he was the local teacher, and I got really lucky because he's an incredible teacher and really gave me the foundation that I needed. And then I went to William Patterson University in New Jersey and studied with John Riley. And I mean, that time spent with him was invaluable. It was incredible. And then, you know, from there it was more about being in and around New York and going to see my favorite drummers. And that really felt like a lesson, you know, that combined with trying to study the history, mostly in a jazz context. So Tony Williams and Elvin Jones and Roy Haynes and Art Blakey, and the list goes on, Max Roach. And I was just really, really hungry and trying to absorb as much of this information as I could. Yeah, when it comes to a sound and a style, I never made a conscious effort to be different or to try to say something new. I think what makes everyone different is that we're all a unique combination of our influences. I take influence from a wide variety of sources, and maybe on paper they wouldn't belong in each situation, but I try to allow them to be there and to you know, find ways to inject them in the music in a musical way. Mark
Guiliana's playing is it's multifaceted. He's got a really, really great sense of groove, but he's got this explosiveness that's really, really different than just about everybody else I know. It's like sort of, sometimes I think of it as like sort of a popcorn machine where it's just like this, all of a sudden this rhythmic stuff, and nobody really plays like Mark, like rhythmically. It's sort of like, there is kind of a rolling thing to it, but it's more like jabbing and poking and more here's this, and like it's more provocative. He's got a propulsion that not a lot of guys have that really, you know, every musician I know loves to play with him, and every musician I know loves to see him play too. So that's pretty awesome.
I was introduced to Vic Firth sticks through my first teacher, Joe Bergamini, and so he put those in my hands, and that's that. And a little story, actually, before I started studying with Joe, he came, I started playing at the end of 8th grade. So in 8th grade, Joe came to my middle school to do a clinic. And he came with a little Vic Firth care package. So he had some t-shirts and he had a couple pairs of sticks. And he asked a few questions. And I got one of the questions right. So he said, okay, what do you want, a t-shirt or a pair of sticks? And I said, a t-shirt. And I think it was Firth Shogun. Remember those? In the late 90s. And he's like, well, do you own a pair of sticks? And I said, no. He said, well, why don't you take the sticks? So that was my first pair of sticks. They, of course, were Firth. So we obviously we drove up today from New York, about 4 hours in the car, and we talked about sticks the whole time. And Tim had a lot of insight into what he likes in sticks and what he particularly likes about the sticks that I use, the 85As. So what were you saying about those?
How you doing?
So Tim, hey.
Hi.
What do you look for in the sticks that you use?
Well, I use them to light fires, so it's like, that's kind of one of my things. But before that, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Just as a kind of like a fan standpoint, like for instance, when you're playing a blues, like what do you, like just a quick question about how you approach the blues. How you doing?
There you go.